ultra racing fans, and welcome to our first episode of the Ultra Race Recap. In this show, we cover the best ultra races from around the world, whether it's running, biking, swimming, or any other multi-day challenge powered by the human body and their will to succeed. So let's jump right into it. Known as the toughest foot race in the world, the Badwater 135 has always challenged its competitors with an uphill battle in the heat. Traditionally, the race starts in Death Valley as the lowest point in the continental US. But this year, due to a restriction in Death Valley National Park, the route had to be changed. So race organizer and Chief Adventure Officer Chris Kosman succeeded in finding an alternative to this route. Past racers were looking forward to the new challenge. This week, the race across Oregon also took place. The RAO boasts over 40,000 feet of climbing on the 515-mile course. Race director, George Thomas.
David Hasse was obviously the favorite because of all the experience he's got and how fast he is, and it's very well deserved. Then we had Colin Stokes coming up, who's got a lot of experience. Mick Walsh was there. We were really excited to have Adam Kennedy, who's a Oregon Bicycle Racing Association, just one of their top guys. Well, Karen Armstrong, also one of the favorites for overall because she is such a strong woman racer. Done well at the 508. She's repeatedly won Race Across Oregon. So she was there as well. David Hasse won the men's division. Karen Armstrong won the women's. Our top 50-plus racer in the 200-mile division was Brian Martin from British Columbia, and then Adam Kennedy was the overall winner of the 200.
The Vermont 100 is one of our country's longest running ultra race. It's also part of the Grand Slam series of ultra running, which includes races such as the Western States 100, the Leadville Trail 100, and the Wasatch Front 100 mile. Besides the distance, all these races, especially the Vermont 100, have some spectacular views along the route. Well, the Vermont 100 is limited to 300 runners who attempt to finish within the 30-hour cutoff. This year, records were broken. In the men's 100-mile, Brian Rosecki came in with a time of 14:47:35, and in the women's 100-kilometer division, Dawn Hamill broke the record with a time of 11:29:05. We got an opportunity to speak with one of this year's racers, Zach Whelans, who set a personal record himself with a finish of 20 hours and 3 minutes. Hi, Zach.
How you doing?
What is it that brings you back to this race besides the location?
Yeah, it's really well organized. I think this was the 26th year that they were doing this. There's just some great characters that always show up at Vermont. There's guys who have done it, 20 plus times. Last year there was a thrown-in dynamic of Nick Clark and Ian Sharman. They were both there going for the Grand Slam record. So once in a while you'll get those super competitive years like last year, and just some of the local, say New England kind of elite ultra runners who go out and he set the record this year. Brian Rosecki, super talented guy, wins a lot of races up here in the Northeast. But his wife, I actually ran a bit of the race with last year. She's going to be taking over the race directing for this year, and so I'm sure as it is out west, there's a really close-knit community, and it is the 100 here in the Northeast so far.
Now back to cycling. One goal that many ultra cyclists strive for is to be RAAM qualified. So there's many races around the world that cyclists can participate in to achieve that, and this July we had 2 in the same weekend. This year was the second edition of the Race Across Italy, which started in Silvi Marina on July 26th and finished just 29 hours and 32 minutes later by first place finisher Marcello Luca of Italy. So first place women's finisher was also from Italy. It was Laura Messina. She finished in 35 hours and 51 minutes. The route for Race Across Italy is 809 kilometers or 500 miles. It makes its way in a loop around the beautiful landscape of central Italy. The route was actually changed this year so racers and fans could not only enjoy the views, but had some legendary climbs. According to the Race Across Italy leaderboard, of the 33 entrants in the race, 12 are now RAAM qualified. Back in the United States, Minnesota held its own cycle challenge. The Minnesota Cycling Challenge, which is a part of the RAAM Challenge series, has a route which circles the Twin Cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul, Minnesota. The route crosses the Mississippi River and boasts some awesome rolling hills. RAAM qualifiers include both 200 and 400-mile endurance routes, but only the 400-mile race qualifies you to race RAAM. Of the 7 starting solo riders, Robert Ferris came in first with a time of 20 hours and 44 minutes and an average speed of 18.37 miles per hour. Wow. Well, now that we're in August, we have several ultra racing events around the country. Some to look out for include the Hoodoo 500 in southern Utah, the Leadville 100, which takes place on the peaks of Colorado, and the Ghost of Yellowstone, where their 100-mile route boasts over 25,000 feet of elevation gain on foot. Don't forget to follow us on social media. You can check out our Facebook page under Ultra Racing Network and also check out the Ultra Race Report on YouTube. We know that there are several races around the world that we didn't even mention in our show today, so we need your help. If you have an elite ultra race that you would like to tell us about, please send your media alerts to stories@ultraracingnetwork.com. We'll try our best to get current ultra racing information to all our viewers. Thanks for watching the Ultra Racing Recap. I'm your host, Sarah Pila. Remember to like us on Facebook and keep a lookout for our next episode.